Welcome to the Next Level Mamas podcast. I'm here to help encourage and empower you to create a life you love as you head toward your own next level. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to Next Level Mamas podcast. Now, I thought of a title for this week. The title is, I think you need to know that your next level is really not too far away. Now, we are halfway through our month of just learning to show up for ourselves and develop our self-love and our self-trust. Remember what we're doing. We are deciding in advance what we want to do, putting it on our calendar, and then following through on that very thing. This is the training ground that we are using to build the foundation of self-trust. Now, there is so much peace knowing that I will do what I say I will do. I don't even have to know how I will do it. I can tell myself that I'll just figure it out along the way and I'll get it done. I think about driving a car with this one. You don't go and just press the accelerator all the way to the floor at first, right? You ease it down. That way you can gently go and you can gently let your foot off to slow down when it's not in the right direction. You can turn your vehicle and go in a different direction when you're lightly pressing on the pedal. Now, I was thinking about this. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. This is really embarrassing, but I'm really terrible at Mario Kart. I don't play very often. I used to try to play when my kids were younger, and I'm terrible. You know what I do? I press that pedal all the way down every single time. I take those turns with reckless abandon. I wreck my car around every single turn because I don't know the path. I don't know the turns or the roadblocks. And I think of this in life. If we will just slow down, we can go around the turns with a little more ease, and we can auto-correct as we go, steering around the roadblocks instead of plowing into them. Now, eventually, if we were to play the game all the time, we play more often, we get used to the roads and we can go a little faster that way. More experience time means faster speeds. The same with life. It also equals more self-trust. Now, it's the same with your road toward your goal. The more you trust yourself, the more slowly you go and the less wreckage along the way. You'll probably actually get there faster, or at least get there instead of wrecking the car and throwing your hands in the air and giving up and quitting, which is what so many people do. Some of you may be thinking, but I just don't even know what my next level should be. I know where I am, but I don't know what I should do next. I'm going to take you through a few examples here because we have to keep it simple. We're going to start with an easy analogy. Say you want to run a 5K race. If you start out trying to run 3 miles, a 5K is 3.1. It sounds big, but it's only 3.1. But let's say you start out trying to run 3 miles as fast as you can when you haven't run in years. You will run out of wind probably in less than a quarter of a mile, and you may even give up. Now, what if you just started walking? You have to start with something that you know is quite possible for yourself. Meet yourself where you currently are, not where you think you should be. You can then build up a little endurance and walk a little further. Then you can maybe even walk a little faster. There's so many options. You can use your brain to look closely at your options. Now, I would like you to take whatever goal you're working on and really look at it. What can you do toward that goal this week just to gain a little self-trust and score some points toward momentum? Choose that thing and put it on your calendar and do it. Remember, that's what we're doing this month. Then at the end of the week, you're going to evaluate. How did I do? Then what could I add to make it just the slightest bit farther toward getting my goal? Now, if I walk around my block, what's next? What is the next level? It could be walking faster. It could be timing myself each time to try to edge a little bit off of my time score. Remember, you're only competing with yourself. You got to make it a little bit fun. It could be maybe I want to walk a minute, jog 15 seconds, then catch my breath, walk a minute, jog another 15 seconds until I get all the way on around the block. Now that might be my next level. What's the next level after that? Maybe it's walking 30 seconds, jogging 30 seconds, walking 30 seconds, jogging 30 seconds. That is just, it's night and day from just walking the whole time, believe it or not. I'm telling you, just throwing that little jogging in, get you out of breath, and then you have that time when you're walking, you can gasp for breath if you need to, get yourself going, and then, okay, I can jog again. It's called intervals. Now, I'll tell y'all, when I started my life of running, I would literally jog, like picture a neighborhood. I would jog from one mailbox to the next, and then I would walk to the next mailbox. And if you know anything, it's not very far. It's really not very far because my jogging, I couldn't really jog that far. And some mailboxes are farther away than others. Different driveways, it's different links between the houses. So it's always kind of mixed up. I never knew exactly how far. I just knew walk to the next mailbox and then I'll jog again until I get to the next mailbox. This actually worked. This was the beginning of my life of interval running. Now, come to find out, interval jogging is a real thing, and lots of people do it on their marathon running and training for all sorts of things. In my mind, I totally invented it because before I began doing this, I thought, man, I could never be a runner. But look at me now. I love to run now. Now, remember, you're looking at what you did this past week and deciding on your next challenge. You're not going from jogging 30 seconds to jogging 3 miles. Your next level is not that far away. It's like a very tiny hop. And the best part is that you get to decide. It is a total self-guided journey. It's not what your neighbor's next level is. It's not what your friends or your sisters or your aunt or aunt. It's nobody else's next level but yours. That means there's really no wrong answer. Now, what do you think you can do? Then try it. If it's too much, try just a little less. You're going to ease off of that accelerator just a little bit so you can pivot. If it's too easy, maybe you could do just a little bigger jump. Sometimes you have to like do big jumps until you get to a place where like, oh, that's too big. And then you back it off a little bit. You're going to know as you learn to trust yourself. Now, I was thinking the other day, there's two major reasons that people fail. The first is, we've emphasized a lot this month, is really the way we speak to ourselves, listening to that inner critic voice that we talked so much about. Remember that she keeps us safe and small to where we never actually get that momentum toward our goals. She keeps us away from that. The second reason many of us fail, though, is that we get impatient. Just like me playing Mario Kart, going as fast as I can until I literally slam into the wall. There are simply times and situations in life where slow and steady is a sure win. It doesn't matter how fast you get there. It matters that you arrive. I remember being in school thinking, especially in college, thinking, this is going so slowly. I just want to be done. But then if you remember, when it's over, you think, wow, that went by so fast. Now, when you're at the end of the goal, you always feel like it went faster than you thought. And you never get there thinking, man, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Like nobody ever says that, because we all know hard work, it just pays off because you are getting part of you involved that really, really brings it out of you. It brings out a part of you that you didn't even know was possible. And when you get towards that goal, it always pays off. One more thing we're going to look at is we're going to put it in perspective of food, because I do a lot of weight loss coaching. And we're going to say that in this example, right now, you eat pizza every night, only on Fridays. You used to live off pizza regularly, but now you eat a whole pizza every Friday night, right out of the box. You open up the box and that's your plate and you start eating it. Asking your brain a few questions can be helpful. What would be next for me? Now, I've gone from eating pizza several days to now I only do it on Friday nights. So, but what now would be next to me? Could I just do a little bit better? Could I just, and then like fill in the blank. What is the one thing I could just do? Now, next Friday, could you maybe leave a slice behind? Maybe for you, it's taking it out of the box and eating it on a real plate and enjoying it as a real meal, even if you ate the whole thing, but you're switching that little thing, putting it on a plate. Or maybe it's putting extra veggies on your pizza, or maybe just a little less cheese. What's the next best thing that you are willing to do? It doesn't have to be the best thing that your neighbor would do. Remember, this is you. What could you foresee being able to do? Now, your brain will for sure try to talk you out of the decision still. It will say things like, one slice less will not get you your 50-pound weight loss. It'll say things like, leaving a slice behind it's a little wasteful. There's starving people out there. It might say, but you only do it on Fridays now and you used to do it several days a week. That should be good enough. Remember now, when you know your opponent's plays, like we talked about last week, you can create your defensive plan. You can be the defensive coordinator. You can have those comebacks ready. You can have that conversation with yourself and not back down. You can stick up for yourself. The more and more you develop this self-trust and self-love. Taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves involves choosing the things that will challenge us, but not be so huge that we cannot physically or mentally do them. Now, the bottom line is that we don't want to give up on our goal. We love ourselves. We trust ourselves as we decide on the next thing to do. Failure is not an option. We can pivot if we're going slow and steady. We can lightly press the accelerator and we can make the turns way more easily. We can visualize ourselves at that finish line. Just you've got to visualize it every once in a while to get that feeling of like, I've made it, I've accomplished it. Get those feelings to remind yourself why you're going in that direction in the first place. Why do you want it so bad? Now, I hope this is helpful as you decide on your next level. Set yourself up for success. Choose something that will take you toward your goal and support yourself in doing it. Tiny habits and tiny successes add up to huge things. For the bonus material for this podcast, go to my website, nextlevelmamas.com/podcast. It's a simple PDF download. You don't even have to download it. You can click on it. You can read through it and write your answers. If there are journal prompts, kind of do the things. You don't have to print it out necessarily or even download it, but it's there for you. And I highly recommend every week to go there, look at that, because I have extra things that I think of after the fact and elaborate on a few things. Oftentimes it is worth your few minutes is all it takes. Now, to wrap this up, I would like you to remember that you are worth doing this work on yourself. Now, I will see you next week, guys. Thank you for listening to this episode of Next Level Mamas, where we are out to win the level we are in and move into our own next level. For more information on coaching with me, please visit nextlevelmamas.com/create your life. See you next week.